Have you ever felt like something changed in your relationship, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it? Maybe the passion isn't what it used to be. Maybe she seems distant, uninterested, or simply not the same as before. Most men assume this is just a natural phase, that it happens to everyone, that desire simply fades over time. But what if I told you that's a lie? The truth is, desire doesn't fade. It's slowly killed. And the worst part, the man often has no idea he's the one holding the knife. There are 3 silent relationship killers that almost every man unknowingly commits. These mistakes don't just weaken intimacy, they drain the very essence of attraction, making a woman slowly detach, until one day she's no longer there. But here's the good news. These mistakes are completely avoidable. And today, I'm going to reveal exactly what they are, why they happen, and, most importantly, how to reverse them before it's too late. But I have to warn you, once you see these mistakes for what they are, you will never see your relationship the same way again. Now, let's start with the first mistake. It's something so subtle, so seemingly harmless, that most men don't even realize they're making it. But trust me, it changes everything. Most men believe that desire is instant. They think that if they initiate intimacy, their partner should naturally respond, and if she doesn't, well, something must be wrong with her. Right? Wrong. Women do not experience desire the same way men do. For most men, attraction is like flipping a switch. A single visual cue, a thought, or a memory can instantly ignite desire. But for women, desire doesn't work like that. It's not a switch. It's a fire that needs to be stoked gradually. And here's the problem. Many men are unintentionally suffocating that fire without even realizing it. Imagine a garden. If you neglect it, if you stop watering it, stop giving it sunlight, stop tending to it, what happens? It slowly withers. That's exactly what happens to attraction when there is no emotional connection outside the bedroom. Women need to feel seen, heard, and valued beyond just moments of physical intimacy. If their emotional needs are not met, their body will naturally shut down in response. So how do you know if this mistake is happening in your relationship? Here are the warning signs. She stops initiating intimacy. This doesn't mean she's lost interest. It means she's not feeling emotionally engaged. Conversations feel robotic. If most of your talks revolve around responsibilities, schedules, and tasks rather than genuine curiosity about her, something is missing. Physical affection disappears. If touch only happens when sex is the goal, she will start associating it with obligation rather than desire. Now, how do you fix this? The 3-step fix: rebuilding emotional connection. Be present, not just physically there. Most men listen to respond, not to understand. Start paying attention to the small details in her words, her expressions, her moods. Create connection in unexpected moments. Desire grows when a woman feels emotionally engaged. A simple touch while passing by, an unexpected text saying, "I was just thinking about you," or asking how she really feels about something. These moments build intimacy before anything physical even begins. Give without expecting a return. If every act of affection is transactional, done with the expectation of receiving intimacy in return, she will withdraw. Give because you genuinely want to, and she will naturally reciprocate. Women don't want to be desired just for their bodies. They want to be desired for who they are. If you can master this, you'll never have to chase intimacy again. It will come naturally because she will feel emotionally safe, deeply connected, and irresistibly drawn to you. But if you ignore this, you'll start seeing the signs: excuses, avoidance, emotional distance. And once a woman starts feeling disconnected, bringing her back becomes infinitely harder. But this is just the first mistake. The next one, it's even more dangerous, It's the reason why relationships go from passionate and exciting to dull and repetitive. And the worst part? Most men unknowingly create this trap for themselves. Let's talk about the routine killer. There is one thing that almost guarantees a slow death of attraction in any relationship. It sneaks in without warning. It feels harmless at first, and by the time you realize it's there, the damage has already been done. It's predictability. At the beginning of a relationship, everything feels electric. Every touch, every word, every glance carries anticipation. You're constantly discovering each other, exploring new ways to connect, and that mystery fuels desire. But as time goes on, something shifts. Suddenly, things become routine. You start following a script: dinner, TV, bed. The same moves, the same timing, the same expectations. What once felt exciting now feels automatic. And here's the truth: desire cannot survive when everything is predictable. Think about it. What makes a thriller movie exciting? The unknown, the twists, the suspense, the unexpected turns. But if you already know exactly what's going to happen next, the excitement fades. That's exactly what happens in relationships when everything becomes too familiar. Signs that routine is killing the passion. She stops looking forward to intimacy. If there's no anticipation, there's no excitement. Everything feels like a duty. Instead of spontaneous moments of affection, intimacy becomes something that just happens on schedule. She pulls away without explanation. If a woman stops engaging the way she used to, it's not because she doesn't care. It's because she no longer feels the thrill of being desired. And this isn't just about the bedroom. Routine kills attraction because it doesn't just make intimacy predictable, it makes you predictable. So how do you fix this? Breaking free from the routine trap. Inject uncertainty and playfulness. Surprise her. Plan something unexpected. Even a small shift in your daily habits, leaving her a note instead of just texting, changing your usual date spot, or sending an unexpected voice message, creates an element of unpredictability. Flirt with her like you did at the start. Instead of a simple "good night," try whispering something unexpected in her ear. Make her wonder what's coming next. Change the environment. Change the energy. A fresh experience, traveling, trying a new activity, or simply changing where and how you spend time together, triggers new emotions. If every moment together feels like a repeat of the last, her brain stops associating you with excitement. Reignite the chase. Most men stop pursuing their partners once the relationship is stable, but attraction thrives on a sense of pursuit. Tease her, challenge her, make her laugh. Make her feel like she's still someone worth winning over. Desire isn't about being perfect, it's about being unpredictable in a way that keeps her engaged. Because here's the truth: the most dangerous thing in any relationship isn't conflict, it's boredom. If she knows exactly how things will go before they even happen, her mind checks out. And once that happens, attraction starts to slip away. But the next mistake, it's even worse. Because while routine kills desire over time, this next mistake can shut it down instantly. Let's talk about the silence on desires and fantasies. This mistake is the most uncomfortable to talk about, but it's also the one that causes the deepest emotional disconnect in relationships. At some point, nearly every couple stops talking about desire. At first, everything feels natural. You explore each other. You learn what excites the other person. But then, without realizing it, conversations about intimacy, fantasies, and desires start to fade. And over time, silence replaces curiosity. Most men assume that if a woman isn't talking about her desires, it means she doesn't have any. That's a lie. Women have fantasies, they have desires, they have things that excite them. But if she doesn't feel safe enough to express them, she won't. Here's what happens when communication disappears. Desire turns into duty. If intimacy feels like something routine, rather than an expression of shared passion, she begins to disconnect. She loses excitement. If new things are never discussed, if no curiosity exists, everything becomes mechanical. She starts living in her own world. Instead of sharing her fantasies, she keeps them to herself, and the relationship loses its depth. Most women do not open up unless they feel completely safe. So if a man never creates that environment, she won't share. And if she isn't sharing, the relationship is running on autopilot. How to break the silence and bring back the spark. Ask the questions that never get asked. Instead of assuming you know what she wants, ask, what's something you've always wanted to explore but never talked about? Is there anything I do that makes you feel most connected to me? Is there something that used to excite you that we don't do anymore? Stop judging, start listening. If she opens up and you react negatively, she won't do it again. Even if something surprises you, respond with curiosity, not judgment. Lead by example. Be the first to share. Tell her something new you'd like to experience together. When she sees your openness, she'll feel safe enough to do the same. Here's the truth. The healthiest relationships are the ones where both partners feel completely free to express themselves. If she's holding things back, it's because she feels she can't share them with you. And once a woman stops feeling emotionally free, her desire fades. Because desire isn't just about attraction, it's about freedom. And if she feels caged in any way, even emotionally, her body will respond accordingly. Now that you've seen the 3 biggest mistakes that destroy female desire, let's talk about something even more important. How do you fix all of this and make sure it never happens again? That's exactly what we'll cover in the final chapter. Now that you know the 3 silent killers of female desire, lack of connection, routine, and silence about fantasies, you might be wondering, how do I fix this permanently? Because the truth is, it's not enough to just recognize the mistakes. You need to take action. Desire doesn't die overnight. It fades slowly over time, and just as it can fade, it can also be reignited. But here's the key. If you don't actively work to keep the connection alive, the unpredictability fresh, and the communication open, the cycle will repeat. That's why in this final chapter, I'm going to give you the exact framework for making sure your relationship never falls into these traps again. Step 1. Master the art of emotional presence. One of the biggest mistakes men make is believing that attraction is just physical. In reality, a woman's desire is deeply tied to how emotionally connected she feels. If she feels unheard, unseen, or neglected, her body will shut down. So what does emotional presence actually mean? It means being fully engaged when you're with her. When she's talking, really listen. When you're together, be present, not on your phone, not distracted, not halfway listening. When she expresses something that matters to her, acknowledge it. Women crave emotional depth. If you become someone who genuinely understands and connects with her on that level, she will naturally feel drawn to you without effort. Step 2. Keep the fire alive by breaking patterns. The second key is to avoid falling into predictability. Remember, boredom is the biggest killer of desire. If you want to keep attraction alive, you have to introduce variety, change the routine. Even small things, like changing your date night location, planning a surprise, or adding an unexpected element to your daily routine, can shift the energy. Create moments of playful unpredictability. Whisper something unexpected in her ear. Send a text during the day that makes her wonder what's coming later. Keep her thinking about you. Shift the dynamics of how you interact. Instead of just going through the motions, create a sense of tension and anticipation. Women thrive on emotional and psychological stimulation. If you can tap into that, if she feels like she's constantly discovering new layers of you, she will stay emotionally engaged. Step 3. Unlock the power of open communication. This is the step that most men avoid. Talking about intimacy, needs, and desires can feel awkward, especially if it's something you've never done before. But here's the truth. A woman who feels safe expressing herself will always feel connected to you. So how do you create that environment? Normalize these conversations. Make them part of your relationship, not something that happens once in a while. Be the first to open up. If you start the conversation about desires and experiences, she will feel safer doing the same. Remove judgment. If she shares something that surprises you, lean into curiosity instead of reaction. The more free and open she feels with you, the deeper your connection will become. Step 4. Stop trying to get something. Start giving freely. One of the biggest turnoffs for women is feeling like intimacy is transactional. When every act of affection or kindness feels like it's being done in expectation of something in return, it becomes a burden instead of a connection. This is the difference between genuine connection and covert contracts. What does this mean? Give because you want to, not because you expect something. Be affectionate for the sake of connection, not just as a lead-up to something. Focus on making her feel valued every day, not just when you want intimacy. When you do this, something incredible happens. Women naturally respond to genuine care with attraction. When they feel seen and deeply connected, their desire grows, without force, without pressure, without expectation. Step 5. Keep growing, individually and as a couple. Nothing is more attractive than a man who is constantly growing. When you become stagnant, so does the relationship. If you want to keep her emotionally engaged, you have to stay dynamic, evolving, and interesting. Challenge yourself, learn new things, take care of your body, improve your mindset, maintain your own identity. The more self-assured and fulfilled you are as an individual, the more attractive you become. Encourage growth in the relationship. Try new experiences together. Explore new conversations. Set shared goals. Because stagnation breeds indifference. But when she sees that you are a man who is constantly evolving, she will always feel drawn to you. Now you know the 3 biggest mistakes that kill female desire. And more importantly, you know how to fix them. Most men will ignore this. They'll assume that relationships just naturally lose passion over time, that it's just how things go. But the men who understand this, they create relationships where desire never dies, where intimacy is effortless, where attraction lasts, where connection deepens over time instead of fading. And now, the choice is yours. You can let things continue as they are, or you can take control. Which of these mistakes do you think is the most dangerous? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. And if you're serious about transforming your relationships, subscribe now, because we're just getting started. The biggest mistake you can make, ignoring this and hoping things will fix themselves. Now you know the truth. What will you do with it? With